Hey guys, welcome to Sizes Every Day, and today I'm going to teach you how to build a modern side table. So guys, for this build, I'm actually going to be using some scrap wood that I have just laying around, and specifically I will not be including actual cut lists or any details of the specifications that I made this piece, because this was actually made to something that I was going to need in a specific size. So you can make this whatever size you like and whichever way you like. Generally, this one I made about 2 feet wide. It is bigger than usual, but I actually have a centerpiece that's going to go on it that is pretty long, so that's why I'll be making it around 2 feet wide. I would recommend to make it a bit shorter. About a foot is actually enough and it looks great. This one, if you just leave it alone, it actually looks a bit long. Now for the height, I'm actually going to be about 16 inches tall. I think that's a perfect height for it. It's not too tall, it's not too short, and it's going to turn out just fine. And based on those dimensions, that's what's going to end up being every single piece around. You just measure out whatever you're going to have as your base or your table, and then make everything around it. This is pretty simple. If you follow the video, you'll be able to build it. It's very easy to do. You just have to follow what you're seeing and understand how the table is actually be in between the two slots, and it's going to hold itself from the bottom support and the top support. What I'm doing here is I'm going to be building each side first, which are the supports, and you're just going to slide in the table through the middle of those. Now every single joint, I'm just going to try to make all the screws to be on the inside, just for aesthetics wise. And I'm going to drive a pilot hole, then I'm going to countersink, and then I'm just going to drive a screw through. Now you do want to add a little bit of glue in every single joint, just to give it a little bit more sturdiness. Now the whole thing is composed of pretty much a U shape that you're just going to lay the board that you're going to have in the middle just on top of that, and then on top of that you're just going to put a support right in the middle of the two legs, and that's it. That's pretty much it. Both sides are going to be equal, and then you're just going to make your middle and you're good to go. When you do put one of the middle pieces in, make sure it stands straight, because if not, you're going to be at an angle. So make sure it stands straight whenever you slide it in, and it wants to be in between both. It doesn't want to be too tight or too loose, because it wants to support on there. And if it's straight, it's going to turn out fine. If not, you're going to have a very angled table. Now after you got one side, go ahead and repeat on the other side. Now I'm giving it a little bit of a round over on the outside. So every single side that's going to be on the outside or visible pretty much, I'm going to give it a bit of a round over just to make it look a little bit better. Now if you don't have a router, you can just do this with your sander, but if you like the square edges, you're good to go then. Now for every single piece that I'm going to paint, I'm going to be using a primer and then a matte black finish on it. Now what I'm using, I'm leaving the description down below, and I definitely recommend it. I've used this in several projects and it's just absolutely awesome. I love the finish and it's very easy to work with. So if you want to go check it out, the links are in the description down below. Now my middle base is actually going to consist of these 4 boards that I had laying around. They are going to end up actually about almost 2 feet long, and it's about, I want to say, I think it was almost about 13 inches wide. Now the middle part is just glue up, and you can glue this up whichever way you like. I know that the way that I did it is not the safest for support, but then again, it's just going to be for a centerpiece that's not going to weigh much. If you do want it sturdier, go ahead and do it sideways and you'll get a lot more support out of it. make sure you do sand everything down and make it look as good as you can, because in my case, I will not be putting a finish on the board. I'm just going to leave it as is because it's going to give it some nice contrast. So I want to make sure it looks very nice finish. Now to assemble this, all we gotta do is flip around both legs, slide the board right through, and then just flip it around and we're good to go. Now here I am cutting a middle piece, which I'll be gluing straight to the board. You can do this for support, add more support to it. It doesn't need it, but I said, hey, I'm just gonna do it. And I actually took the weight off too early, and it actually did not stick to the board at the end, and I noticed this way after. So again, it doesn't need the support. If you are gonna do this, make sure you leave the weight on it because it needs to glue very nicely. Or you could just put some short screws through it and you're good to go as well. Now I am going to put some screws on the board to the frame, but from the bottom, so you can't see it from anywhere except for the bottom. And this is going to help it be more stable. All the weight's going to hang from the support instead of just resting on the support, and I think this might be a better choice. If not, you can just go without it. It's still going to be fine. It might just move a little bit if you put too much weight on it. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this build. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and let me know down in the comments what was your favorite part or how did yours turn out. Now this piece looks absolutely awesome in my living room and I love how it turned out and the simplicity of it. Don't forget, I'm leaving the links of everything that I use in the description down below. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the future builds. Thanks again for watching and I'll see you on the next build.